So the shirt that I'm wearing is kind of what snowballed me into getting into vintage. It's a 90s Nike Jordan Marvin the Martian t-shirt. My name is Owen Monahan, and I am a local business owner here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I own and operate ThriftHeat Vintage in downtown Sioux Falls. Honestly, going back to when I found that t-shirt, I found a love for vintage items. Not only did my dad have clothing, he also had some sports memorabilia, some posters. I guess my fascination and my passion comes from just the way they marketed things back then, the way that they paid attention to detail, unlike today. Some of the graphics and some of the designs they used, a lot of them nowadays are quickly thrown together. People are now starting to use AI to make graphics, and I like the creativity and the thought and the attention to detail that these companies were doing back in the 80s and the 90s. And I think my passion just comes from how differently and well thought out some of those things were back then versus today.
The Converse Star Tech with the unique unisaddle designs.
I think honestly back then the inspiration came from, people just cooped up and they created these designs and they were just test trialing different things. And then also I think a lot of it stemmed from the audience that was surrounding either the bands or the sports teams. I think they helped influence the creators and the designers to do what they've done. And I think today, a lot of that's taken away and they do kind of what the big corporation wants to do rather than what the audience wants to do. When I started this, I started at a very young age. I was in 8th grade, and vintage and sneakers, well, sneakers were trending, but vintage really wasn't trending. And so a lot of people kind of looked at it a little funky, and I really just stuck with it. The impact that I want to leave is no matter what you want to do, if you have a dream, a passion, a goal, that you can just set out and with discipline, hard work, and consistency, you can get it done. And it doesn't have to be in the vintage scene or the sneaker scene at all. It's just if you have a desire or you want to do something, you can do it yourself. You just got to keep going. I kind of want to just continue the ball rolling. I kind of want to just continue the hunt for different and obscure items that I do have in the store. I think my biggest passion right now in the vintage industry is going to be display pieces and how I have the store set up. I just want to continue to push the vintage culture here in Sioux Falls, just because I've always been told Sioux Falls is a little bit behind in trends, and you can even go up to Minneapolis and find a way bigger vintage scene, and I kind of want to get Sioux Falls to that point, whether it's through the Second Saturday Market, bringing more vendors to town and bringing more people to the event to get a taste of the vintage culture. As far as ThriftHeat, I just kind of want to keep pushing the message of reusing, recycling, and just loving on goods that were already created, rather than shopping with corporations that are mass-producing items. I think I've driven a lot of people in the Midwest to start, getting into vintage and reselling and kind of chasing that dream themselves. Like I said, chase your dreams. I mean, it's just going back to the other question about impact. I think I've left a big enough impact here in Sioux Falls that I personally know a handful of people that have jumped into chasing their own business or chasing a dream that they've had for a while. And I think I just want to continue that as well.